Welcome to today's new family orientation session. Before we begin, we have a few important housekeeping notes to cover.
La traducción al español para esta sesión es proporcionada por Wordly, una herramienta de traducción en tiempo real. Para acceder a este contenido en español, haga clic en el icono del globo en la barra de herramientas del lado derecho de la pantalla y seleccione Español en la lista de opciones de traducción.
Today's session is being recorded. Recordings will be available approximately 3 hours after the session ends. You can find session recordings in your session schedule or in the on-demand page of the Hub. To ask questions during this session, click on the Q&A button in the panel to the right of your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can, either during the session or at the end. You can submit questions anonymously. Please don't share any personal information in questions, as questions will be visible to all guests. If you see a question in the Q&A panel that you want to see answered, upvote it to let our team know. Lastly, we ask that you please join us in upholding and promoting UC San Diego's principles of community, and in keeping our community free from any and all forms of discrimination and harassment. Now let's get started with today's new family orientation session.
Good afternoon, parents and families. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Happy Thursday. First and foremost, congratulations to you and your amazing students. This is such a special time, and we're thrilled to have you here with us. Today, we're excited to share a brief presentation about one of the many mental health resources available here at UC San Diego. Supporting student well-being is a top priority, and we can't wait to show you how we're helping your students thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. Thanks for being here and for being such an important part of your students' journey. My name is Christian Gasca, Chris for short. My pronouns are he, him, and él. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm a Triton core clinician. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague for their introduction.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome again, everyone. Glad you guys can make it. My name is Veronica Johnson. I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm also a Triton core clinician. Glad you guys are here.
Thanks, Veronica. Triton Core is UC San Diego's mobile compassionate response team. We are a team of licensed mental health professionals who provide in-person support to students physically located on campus who may be experiencing a behavioral health crisis. Our goal is to respond with compassion, empathy, care, and clinical expertise, meeting students where they are both emotionally and physically. Throughout today's presentation, we will be addressing the following bullet points: who we are, why we exist, the services Triton Core provides, and how to contact our team if you're concerned for the mental, emotional well-being of your student. Of course, we will also have time at the end of the presentation for questions and answers. We ask that you kindly submit your questions using the Q&A chat box feature on your screen.
So here's our team on campus. A few pictures just displaying the different events that we go to and how we are supporting the students here on UCSD. Our team consists of 6 licensed therapists and 1 dedicated manager, all committed to supporting student well-being. We all take pride in our work, and we take pride in the diversity of our team, which also reflects and represents the broad range of identities within the UC San Diego campus. In addition to providing clinical services, we engage in extensive outreach efforts all across campus to build connections, promote mental health awareness, and make our support more accessible to all students here. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to take a look at the pictures to give you a better idea of what our team does.
Parents and families, please note this presentation includes discussions about mental health, including references to mental health symptoms. Some content covered may be sensitive or triggering for some participants. We encourage you to care for your well-being. Please feel free to take a break at any point. If you need to step away, that is completely okay. Starting college is an exciting new chapter filled with opportunities for growth, discovery, and connection. UC San Diego offers a vibrant campus community with a wide range of resources, affinity spaces, and student organizations to support students in their academic, social, and personal journey. It is completely normal to experience a wide range of emotions during this transition, from excitement and curiosity to uncertainty and homesickness. Remember, adjusting to change takes time. Your students are not alone. Many students share similar experiences as they settle into college life.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges that come up while students are in both this exciting and challenging time in transitioning into college. Starting college often means juggling multiple responsibilities, academics, social life, work, family expectations, and personal well-being. While adjusting to this new phase can bring a mix of emotions from excitement, curiosity, to anxiety, loneliness, or even self-doubt. Trying to manage everything at once without established support systems can feel overwhelming and exhausting. Ongoing stress and emotional strain, especially when unacknowledged, can build up and contribute to a mental health crisis. A crisis can occur when someone feels unable to cope with everything they're juggling and the emotional weight becomes too heavy. Recognizing when stress is becoming unmanageable is an important first step towards getting support before reaching a breaking point. And that is where we would like to come in. So here are a few of the purposes and goals of Triton Core. The goal of Triton Core is to provide an in-person, trauma-informed mental health response that prioritizes safety and compassion. All of our services are consensual and confidential, meaning students must agree to engage with Triton Core. And as licensed therapists, we are bound to confidentiality, meaning we cannot share information pertaining to our visit with the student without their signed permission. We also aim to reduce visits to the ER by offering immediate support to an in-campus environment. Our team aims to facilitate de-escalation in moments of emotional and psychological distress. We aim to deliver student-centered behavioral health approach that meets the students where they are. We also strive to reduce stigma, traumatic encounters, the risk of criminalization during a mental health crisis. We also promote collaborative care coordination with on-campus departments and off-campus mental health providers. And ultimately, our mission is to help students feel safer, more supported, and less alone, even in their most vulnerable moments. Here, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about the services that Triton Core provides to the campus. Consultation. We offer guidance and support to students, staff, and faculty who have concerns about someone's mental health or well-being. This then may result in a wellness check. Our team conducts an in-person wellness check for students who may need support or are showing signs of distress on campus. If needed, we can also provide transportation. We provide safe and supportive transportation to a higher level of care, such as a hospital or a crisis stabilization unit, depending on the student's need. Another service that Triton Core offers is postvention. So following a crisis or a critical incident, we offer follow-up support and resources to help students and the campus community heal and recover. And as a reminder, Triton Core services are consensual and confidential.
Triton Core supports students experiencing strong emotions like anxiety or sadness, as long as there's no imminent threat to themselves or others. Our team steps in to provide care and safety planning to students experiencing suicidal or homicidal thoughts, but who are not in immediate danger. If a student expresses anger or threats but isn't acting on them right now, our team can help with de-escalation and getting that student connected to the appropriate level of support. We also assist students dealing with substance use issues by connecting them to the appropriate level of care. Big changes in how someone eats or sleeps can be an indicator that they need support and we can help figure out what's going on. If a student seems confused or is having trouble communicating clearly, we take the time to assess and make sure they get the right level of care. Sometimes cases are more complex or unusual, and we offer expert advice to make sure students get what they need at that time. Listed here are questions asked by UCPD Dispatch. UCPD Dispatch acts as a safety filter for Triton Core calls, ensuring that the team is not sent into potentially unsafe situations. When calling the helpline, be sure to request connection with Triton Core specifically. UCPD Dispatch will ask some preliminary questions to assess the situation before transferring the call to the Triton Core office. In certain unique or high-risk cases, UCPD or medics may be involved alongside Triton Core to provide necessary safety or medical support to the student. This collaboration helps keep both students and response teams safe while providing the right level of care.
Here are a few different campus partners that we work with on campus. Again, another collage for you guys to look at. Triton Core works closely with various campus departments to ensure students receive comprehensive support tailored to their needs. We connect students to ongoing mental health counseling services, therapy services within UC San Diego and the larger San Diego community. Our team helps students access academic support, housing assistance, and other campus resources when needed. For specialized or long-term care, Triton Core links students to trusted community providers and external mental health services. We do coordinate with both on-campus and off-campus partners to create a seamless network of care. Our goal is to ensure students have access to the right resources at the right time, supporting their overall well-being and success whilst being students here at UCSD. And here is the best way to contact us. I have a picture of the team here and the hours of operation. As stated earlier, our team consists of 6 licensed therapists and 1 dedicated manager, all committed to supporting student well-being. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. up until 10 p.m. To contact Triton Core, you must call UCPD non-emergency line at 858-534-4357. And as a reminder, we offer services in English, Spanish, Cantonese, and Mandarin to best serve the student population. And lastly, thank you again for being here and taking the time to learn about Triton Core and the services we provide. We're committed to supporting the well-being of all UCSD students with compassion, care, and connection. If you have any questions or want to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out. And remember, together we can build a safer and more supportive campus community. Thanks for attending, and once again, congratulations.
Thanks, Vero. And thanks again to our parents and families joining us here today. We're going to be moving into our questions and answering section now. So hopefully you've already submitted your question in the chat box. Thanks again. Good afternoon, parents. Thank you for joining us. We're entering our questions and answering section. So to begin this discussion, I'd like to propose the question that if a student has a crisis and trying to respond, will the parent be notified? I would like for you all to think about that a little bit, given what we shared in the presentation today about our services being consensual and confidential. So in the case that Triton Core provides services to your student, it is going to be dependent on the student whether Triton Core. Sorry, I'm just giving some feedback about echoes. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better? I think so.
Nice. Well done. That was good, Christian. You're good to go.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. So to answer that question, if Triton Core were to provide support to your student, it is essentially your student's right to decline Triton Core reaching out to the parent and sharing an update. Now, if you are the reporting party and are the individual that is concerned for the student, then there is a possibility for us to let you know that services were provided at the end of our time connecting with the student. However, we can only provide detailed information if the student provides a signature, written consent for us to be able to loop you all in their post-treatment care. In most cases, we highly encourage students to include their parents, families in the safety planning process so that everyone is looped in and can show support. However, it really is just dependent on the student. And as licensed therapists, we are bound to confidentiality and we legally cannot break that. So the moment that we connect with the student, they are our patients for that time, and we have to honor their privacy. Now, in the case that a student refuses to speak with Triton Core, then a couple of things can happen. If the concern is relatively high, then that case will be transferred to UCPD, so law enforcement on campus. Historically, at UC San Diego, UCPD served as the professionals that would help assess whether a student would meet the criteria for a higher level of care. However, as Triton Core made its way into the campus community, we have taken over mental health calls within the department and can provide support to students as opposed to having, a uniformed and armed officer support them during that time. So the question being, how do you ensure students actually follow through with recommended treatment? We work hand in hand with the student and their support network to make appointments, get in contact, and also create a plan for that student to seek and establish care and follow up with their appointments. As Triton Core clinicians, we have access to multiple records. We have access to the student record, we have access to their medical record, and we can also access RIMS, which is law enforcement records. So in the case that we connect with the student and we come up with a safety plan for them to establish care with the provider, we can then go into that medical record system to observe whether that student followed through with that plan and then send them direct messages, either to remind them or letting them know that they have an appointment coming up. If they don't follow through, then our team can follow up by reaching out to that student and encouraging them to make another appointment.
Okay, I see another question here. You mentioned referrals to CAPS, but what if CAPS has a waiting list? Is there interim support? Yes. So when a referral is made to CAPS, they typically do what they call a BTA, brief telephone assessment. And during that brief assessment, they will assess the student's needs. And if it seems like the student needs more immediate support versus waiting on the wait list, they will connect the student to an off-campus provider, either in person or via telehealth for mental health services. Bridge care.
I'll take the next question. What warning signs should I watch for when my student calls home? That's a really good question. A couple of things to keep an eye out or ear for, and that is the sense of hopelessness. If your student is telling you that they've been feeling sad or are making statements like, I don't know if this is worth it, I don't know how long I can do this, then those are yellow flags to begin to think about the resources that you've learned of throughout these workshops to help guide your student in getting connected to the right team. Now, if your student is making comments about no longer wanting to exist, or making, or for example, putting posts online about this being their last class or the last time that they'll be on campus, then I would highly encourage you all to reach out to Triton Core as soon as you can by giving us a call and then sharing that information with us so that we can help guide you and ideally show support to that student that same day. Other signs to look out for is if your student is telling you that they're not eating, or maybe they're not sleeping well. If they stop going to class, that's also a big red flag. The largest red flag is if your student tells you that they are beginning to give their belongings away, because that to us on the mental health side shows that the student has possibly made a plan to end their life and also is following through by giving their belongings away. Now, I realize that that can be quite difficult and heavy. Please know that you are not alone as a parent. There are resources on this campus at your disposal for you to contact and consult. And we will do our best here at Triton Core to try to get in contact with your student as effectively and efficiently as possible to show them care and support at that time.
The next question I see is there a phone number you provide, or is the phone number you provided for students in distress, but only from Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.? So that is the hours that Triton Core operates. If it's past those hours, if it's before 10 or after 10, we do have a CAPS phone number, that after hours number that we can use. And I could put that on the screen for you guys. Protocol. So that number is 24/7 and they can access that when it's past the hours that we are operating. And my colleague will put the number on the screen for you guys to drop down. The next question I see here is, when should we call you versus calling CAPS or students dean of students? You would call us when it's related to mental health concerns. If you're realizing that maybe my student is struggling academically as a result of, mental health, you can also contact us just to consult. If you're not sure if this is a mental health concern or if it's more an academic concern, we'd be happy to consult with you, speak with the student if they're willing to speak with us, so to get a little bit more information as to what's going on. We do, in some cases, when students are struggling with their academics as a result of their mental health, we're able to sign those releases of information with the student and get in contact with their deans or academic advisors if needed. Great questions. Question I see here is, can my student meet with Triton Core before there's a crisis, just to establish a connection? So we don't meet with students on a preventative measure. That's where CAPS would come in so they can get counseling support in that regards. But if it does escalate to a crisis and they need an immediate support, whereas they can't wait until their next appointment, for example, they might have an appointment with their therapist next week and something is happening right now in the moment, we would be able to come and provide services to them in that moment.
Hi folks, I'm trying to add the CAPS telephone number onto the Q&A chat, but I'm having a difficult time doing so. So I'm just gonna read it out loud. And then I would also highly encourage you all to check out our Triton Core website, which includes a resource page that has the phone numbers to the CAPS office. So the phone number to CAPS is 858-534-3755. That is the office that you will direct your student to call if they're interested in establishing care with a CAPS provider. In the case that you would like to contact Triton Core or have your student contact Triton Core, you will need to call the UCPD non-emergency line, which is 858-534-HELP, which is 4357. And the easiest way to remember that is that that telephone number is included in the backside of everyone's identification card, both students and staff. We will go ahead and try to put the hours and the phone number up again. Our team takes pride in being one of the few services on this campus that is open late into the evening. And so we do that intentionally. We looked at data that was gathered over the last couple of years. And based on what we've observed, most crisis calls tend to come in the early to late afternoon. So anywhere from like 3 p.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. Now, the reason why we're here late into the evening is for those individuals who may be struggling or having a difficult time. And let's say they're in class all day, but can't access the resources needed. They can always reach out to Triton Core. And if we don't send a team out to connect with them in person, we can at least help point them in the right direction in them utilizing that consultation service that we offer.
Your request for the phone number again for the after hours line. We are going to repost it, but I'll say it out loud again. 858-534-3755, option 1. Again, that's 858-343-755, option 1.
I'll take the next question, which is, will my student get in trouble with the university if alcohol, drugs are involved? That is a complex question, and I think it's dependent on the nature of the call. Now, if a student is in harm's way because of their access to those substances, there is a possibility that law enforcement may be involved because of the unpredictability factor. However, generally speaking, students here at UC San Diego can enact MAP, which is a medical amnesty program in which the university can give them a one-time warning and not follow through with any consequences that would impact them academically or impact them here at the time at UC San Diego. Now, if a student is showing ongoing signs of substance use and it's impacting their well-being and there is resistance to treatment, then that will lead to a much longer discussion about possible consequences. However, for the first time, for the first infraction, no, your student will not get in trouble with the university if drugs and alcohols are involved, so as long as they invoke MAP, which is that medical amnesty program. The following question, are there any charges or fees associated with Triton Core services? The most direct answer is no. Triton Core services are already paid for by student fees, which they have to take care of prior to them starting here at the university. There may be some fees associated with follow-up care. So let's say the student meets criteria for the emergency department. There will be a copayment associated with that. And if at any point these fees are too high for the student or family to take care of, the university is here to support. We can get the student linked up to either Student First Case Management or other offices within the university to help offset those costs. If your student is provided support by Triton Core and you face a fee, please contact us. Let us know so that we can help guide you in speaking to the appropriate individual so that you're not left with a substantial bill.
Another great question that came in is what are the weeks that usually are the hardest for freshmen? Is it helpful to visit the student during those weeks? Is it better to only call? It's a loaded question. I would say typically the hardest weeks for freshmen are when they are at midterm season or final season. As you know, UCSD is on the quarter system, so that could be a huge adjustment in itself from high school or community college, wherever they're coming in from. So that might be when we know there's a lot more stress. And just sometimes too, just the idea of being away from home for the first time. So maybe even in the first few days, few weeks, they notice that I'm really homesick. It's hard to make friends. In regards to what your student may need, maybe they do need a check-in on the phone, depending on how your guys' relationship and dynamic is. Maybe they're more comfortable with having you guys present there physically, or maybe it is that they're getting by with just a phone call. But I definitely encourage you guys to have those conversations with your students. How are you doing? Not just academically, but mentally as well. Are we feeling okay? Are we eating okay? Sleeping okay? And just be very validating in their experience with that. The kind of follow-up question with that is there anything I could do now as a parent to help my student feel comfortable asking for help if needed? That's a really good question. I think a lot of us could agree that asking for help can be scary, challenging, nerve-wracking. So we would want just to keep encouraging that, everybody struggles. None of us ever do it alone. It's okay to ask for help. And maybe even just reiterating to them that if they do ask for help, that their privacy will be respected and it will not be, information will be given out on their behalf without their permission. So I think a lot of students find a lot of comfort in knowing that our services are confidential and that they will not get in trouble for calling us, that we are truly here just to help them, whatever that may look like. Hey, I don't see any additional questions coming in. We want to thank you all for coming and attending and asking some really good questions. If you have any further questions, like Chris mentioned earlier, please visit our website to get some of this information in a visual form for you guys to view. And then again, like always, we are available for consultation once the student is enrolled here on campus.